One thing I hear a lot of people talk about, and I have seen it for years in natural medicine, is that people will start on, a routine, a diet plan, a supplement plan, an herbal plan. And then a day comes where it just doesn't work. And I've had women say to me, like, this is so frustrating because X, Y, and Z used to always work for me and now it doesn't. Or it'll be, there's a spot, you guys. If enough work hasn't been done in the emotional, energetic realm, about 7, 8 months into a plan, you'll watch it all start to fall apart. And this happens because one of the things that most of us don't realize is happening in our body is that we weren't given tools on how to actually work with the full spectrum of what we feel and the full spectrum of what's happening in our energetic body. And so we keep making our body be the receiver of the stuff that we don't know how to process, the stuff that our mind thinks we've processed, because our mind loves to do that. It loves to give a story about how we've processed through things and create logical frames around everything. Everything's got a box. And our trick is that that's not actually experiencing things. That's just creating logical frames and scenarios. And any of you who are really smart, which most of the women I work with are so exceedingly smart, they're probably, on the highest levels. So they're often really good at creating mental frames around what they're experiencing and logically creating a discussion and logically declaring what their feelings are. But most of them will echo the fact that the reality is that they haven't had any comfort with having the physical experience of feeling an emotion all the way through their body and being able to release it through their nervous system so that their cells and their nervous system can actually have peace. So if you don't learn how to do that, which our world doesn't value it much, you will end up having a body that eventually tries to display what it's been holding on to. And it'll do that by creating symptoms. So it'll create, lack of energy. It'll create sleep disturbances, digestive disturbances, liver issues, detox issues, thyroid issues. Autoimmune is a huge one in this regard. Brain fog, joint pain. I mean, you name it. Like, our body will create a scenario to get your attention. Now, those scenarios often come with biological shift. And so we can find problems in our biology. So we may go run blood work and we'll see that you now are hypothyroid, or you have Hashimoto's, or your liver enzymes are elevated, or your gut flora is out of balance, or, you're anemic or something. These are all ways that our body has found to display stress patterns that relate to our experience of living in the world. And then on a lesser note, what we haven't had access to, like nutrients and things like that. And our body does that because what women find when they really start to unpack these things, as when I teach women how to actually get in and access and be able to really start to feel comfortable feeling their emotions, they discover that there's a whole lot of stuff that they don't want to see. Like, it's like, I don't want to go there. I've been numb on this issue for so long, I don't want to go there. But we haven't been numb. We've been making our body take the load. And I'll tell you a story, because even just last week, when my husband suddenly was in the ER and then ended up having rather emergency surgery a few days later, and the night that we came home from the hospital, my dog had a seizure, and it turns out that he wasn't going to make it. And a day after that, I had to put him down. And the thing I kept noticing was, because as I was working through all the emotions, just constantly letting myself have the full experience, there was a moment where I saw that I could have gone down the road of having my body somaticize the experience for me. And I had this big flash of how much of my life I've spent my time doing that. Whether that's my shoulder hurts, oh, my back hurts, oh, my muscles in my neck are really tight, oh, now I've got a headache, my stomach hurts, like whatever they were, because those are a lot of my preeminent patterns in the past. And I noticed it, and I said to my body, I am so willing to feel this. I am so safe to feel absolutely every bit of this. I have no problem feeling it. I'm ready to be 100% honest with myself. You are absolved of the responsibility of taking on my wounding and making it apparent. And I felt my body go, oh, thank God. And it really highlighted for me in that moment how much we spend our time unconsciously giving our body the burden. And our body is so magnificent that it takes the burden on selflessly. It will take it on, and it will make our wounding apparent, because you guys, sometimes what we want most is to actually be seen and heard, not even necessarily by other folks, but by ourselves first. And many of us have spent a lifetime of not seeing and hearing ourselves. One of the biggest things I see a need for in healing is healing how we have abandoned ourselves. That will come as a bigger force ahead of how anything else that's been done to us externally has happened. And it influences our relationships with our body, with our organs. It influences how our immune system works. My clients tell me how they can work on clearing the emotional residues and headaches will go away, or their temperature will rise, because it's that potent. And when we stop giving our body responsibility for making our wounding apparent, because that goes with a deeper wound, and I talk about it a lot with my clients, but that deeper wound it goes partially with our second chakra of, I'm going to hold this wounding so I have proof that I have been injured. And we do that so many different ways. We do it with ending up in crappy relationships. We do it with financial ruin. We do it with physical pain. We do it with illness, because they're subconscious ways that we display that we are perpetually wounded, because there's a fear that if I let go of the wound, then I'll have nothing. And until we can unburden ourselves of all of that stuff that we've got inside, we often will keep stuffing it into places and having our body somatically express it, because there's always going to be a part of us that wants the healing to take place. And there's always a part of us that knows that healing is the resumption of life force at its core, and the release from the burdens of what we have not experienced or didn't know how to experience. And as much as some of you may be thinking, like, I don't get it, like, what does that have to do with my physical pain, or what does that have to do with my exhaustion? It's everything, because your body is in survival mode. I haven't yet met a woman whose body who isn't, so I can say categorically, you're watching this, your body's in survival mode. And that survival mode has your biology doing things that it believes it has to do to survive. And it is directly linked to your emotional state, your mental state, and the energetic systems of your body. And they all have to be restored. And I'll tell you the truth, it doesn't begin with the physical. I think this is where we're doing one of the biggest disservices in medicine today, is that we're starting with the physical. We're putting so much emphasis on the physical. And then we're, as a side offshoot, maybe talking about our mental space, our emotional space. And the reality is that we have to clear the emotional residues that are interfering with the nervous system connection with the cell first, then build on the energetic matrix, then build on what we do physically. And it has to go in that order. When we do it out of order and we start it going to the physical, guess what happens? Your programs are going to stop working. You're going to reach thresholds with your supplements. Foods are going to, you're going to start reacting to more foods. You're going to have to change up the diet again. You're going to have to keep making these amendments, because your body is like, I could only make so much change. I have all this stuff stuck in here and I don't know how to get around it. I don't know how to, deal with it. And it's creating a blockade and I can't get past it. And so it's one of the biggest things, is that our body needs to be given permission to stop somaticizing our wounding. And to do that, we have to have the capacity to go in and be present with and work through and feel all of it to its totality. And a lot of times that takes help. Not the kind of help, so no one who ever works with me has got to sit down and tell me their story in detail, because actually that isn't a great way to heal emotional wounding. It's a great way to re-injure yourself or someone else, but actually to connect with the nervous system and the cell systems and release that stuff so that when you take physical actions, they can go directly to the source. They can go to the cell membrane, they can go to the liver, they can go to the gut, they can start making these beautiful shifts and changes in how our body works. And it's something that through much of my time as a naturopathic doctor, my master's in Chinese medicine, guys, I didn't learn this. And my functional medicine training, that didn't have any association with any of it. It is not a core part of how we talk about healing. We seem to talk about healing based on, our orientation. So energy workers talk about energy, and doctors talk about the physical body, and mental health professionals talk about the mental health and emotions, but we're rarely having the right kind of conversation where it's all in the same room. And that's what we need, because that's what our body's waiting for, because we are an energetic being that is here to have this dynamic, messy, glorious human existence with all of it. The pain, the pleasure, the joy, the heartbreak, the sorrow, the celebration, all of it. And our physical body is the vehicle by which we're going to have those experiences. So we can either have it join us in this free flow where we are in that full experience and we learn how to do that with ease, or it's going to get stuck in this very physical realm of the heaviness and the stuckness. We're going to start to see a lot of biological disrepair and a lot of organ dysfunction, and then we're going to see disease. And it ends up being kind of that simple. And I wish someone had taught me this in med school, because I would have saved so much time and even money on my own personal healing and that of my kids. But that's the journey. So I just wanted to pop on because I got so inspired when I was talking to this woman today, and I thought, we need to have more good conversations about this, because we're not having these conversations in healing and especially in medicine. And it is needed now more than ever, because we're really ending up in this very polarized stance at the moment where it's our physical body is so flawed and so vulnerable and so about to fail. And oh my God, it's just breaking down all over the place. There's a whole lot of that in the world right now, a whole lot of talk that echoes that. But there's others of us over here saying, no, we can move these forces of stuckness. We can create space, we can create ease, we can create flow, we can create grace, like we can have vibrancy, we can tap the unlimited potential of our physical body, we can heal things at levels that no one could even ever imagine. We can go to that space, and that evokes a whole new resonance, both for our physical experience, but also for the space around us. You guys, that could shift society in such a profound way. So we need more of us to come to this new model of living and operating and start to learn how to heal the relationship with all that fear-based mechanistic model of our body. And that's how we have our treatments work, and they stay working. Our organs are healthy, our mind is healthy, our body's healthy, our immune system self-regulates, and we get to live our lives like the messy gloriousness of being a beautiful human. That's what it's all about. So I hope that this touched you, gave you some spark of something, because I know someone out there needed this, because when the inspiration hits, I know someone is waiting for the information. And I want you to know you're glorious. This human existence, as fraught with turmoil as it may be, whatever you're experiencing in your physical body, you guys, they're all invitations. They're all invitations to the kind of healing you dream of, to the things that your desires are made of. They're all invitations. And the only question that the universe is asking is, are you going to take the invitation or not? And we always have a choice. We can be like, no. Or we can be like, yeah, I came here to dance. I came here to go through this existence. I'm going to reach 90 and I'm going to look back and go, damn, that was awesome. Because I came and I stood in the full experience of my humanness, and I let myself feel it all, and I came home to my body and I came alive. That's the magic. So I hope you have a blessed day. I wish you all just magnificence. Blessings, guys.